thinking a lot um, about how the fall, September especially, feels like a new kind of hurry after the flurry of the summer. Maybe it's just me, but it feels like there's a lot of pressure to start new routines and get new habits and like build in all of this busyness. And there is a seasonal reset, but the further we get into it, I think we're being invited into the exact opposite of that. I was up north last weekend and I was working a lot, but then in my off time, I just sat and stared at the trees for a while and I watched them shake off these leaves after they had sort of flamed into this beautiful color. And I thought, that is what this time of year is about. It's not about getting busy. It's not about back to school and new routines and new this and that. I think it's a time of year to let things go, to settle into ease as much as we can. And I also love Marie's poem because it reminds me that so often ease is still marketed to us as an efficiency mechanism so that we can get more done. If we can make this easier, if we can make this pathway smoother, if this product can solve this problem for you, then you can be more productive. Or we'll make this easier so you can get more done somewhere else. Am I the only one? It feels like that is just sort of how this always goes. When I start thinking about ease, it becomes efficiency. And I'm not looking for easier ways to do things so that I can get more done later. But I'm really interested in ease for its own sake. Doing less just to do less. And I find myself getting caught in this trap too of, I don't know if anyone else believes this lie, but I've believed this lie for a very long time of, if I work really hard now, then I can relax later. If I just bust it out, then I'll be able to chill. This caught up to me Friday night, home. I have 16 classes this fall through school. Luckily, a lot of them are online. Some of them are released all the way. So I have finished 5 of my 16 classes already, done all the quizzes and the lectures, and I'm 2 weeks ahead on my radiology reports, but I found out the last one of the semester is already open. So I was doing that on Friday night at 8:30. And I was like, Stephanie, this is a time to stop. You have gotten plenty far ahead. You can be done working. But this sense of the last radiology report of the class is up and I haven't done it, so I have to do it, was the mindset I had gotten into, instead of enjoy the cushion that you built for yourself. And that was Friday night, and I knew that I was talking about this morning. So it's true that preachers are preaching to themselves, and I hope that this is relevant for all of you, but it is certainly what I am learning. And it was just this moment of like, what am I even doing? So even though it's something I aspire to, it's something that feels very far out of reach. But instead of making a plan to attack ease, I'm just gonna try not to. So I wanna read some of the wise women to you that I have been reading that have been teaching me about ease. A couple of books have been in my life, and a couple of authors have really sort of set me on this path and inspired me. And I think places can do it, but I don't always get to choose my location. And so I need to find that within myself instead of saying when I'm up north or when it's beautiful outside. So I just want to read a couple things at you, and then we're going to do a little bit of guided experiencing imagery stuff that'll sort of lead into our conversation that I hope is fruitful. So get your body easy. I'm going to do a little bit of reading to you. And the first is out of a book called Wintering by, oh, I forget her first name. Her last name is May. Catherine May, I believe. And this is part from the book, and then part of it is from an interview that she did with Krista Tippett on her book Wintering. So she talks about this. It's so common to see rest and the need for rest as shameful. Like rest is something you only ever get forced into, or that it has to be commodified somehow too. That rest can only be something that you've paid to do. A fancy retreat or a day at a spa, whatever it is that you fancy doing. And I think we've just got that all wrong. Rest should be part of the simple rhythm of our day and of our week and of our year in different ways. I don't think we know what rest even is anymore, to be honest. I think we've lost track of that. And she also says, I think that what it means to be human is to live a life that's deeply cyclical. There isn't one path, straight path through, and certainly not an uphill path that works its way towards a summit where, I don't know, someone puts a crown on our head and the angels sing. I'm not sure how we think that's going to work. But actually, my understanding now as I get older of being human is that life is fundamentally cyclical, that everything repeats itself, that nothing lasts. And that sounds very nihilistic, but I don't think it is actually. I think that if we can truly grasp and believe how fleeting life is, how delicate, how subject to powers beyond our control, that we can begin to set our minds to a better way of living within it, that isn't tormenting itself with trying to grasp onto things that cannot be grasped, and trying to assert ourselves in places that it is completely meaningless to do so. That, for me, is humanity. My other favorite ease teacher is Terry Tempest Williams in her essay, Ode to Slowness. And I think I've read parts of this before, but this is like a sacred text that I just keep coming back to because these refrains just keep living in me. So allow me to read to you from Terry Tempest Williams' essay, Ode to Slowness. This living in the country would include becoming a caretaker of silence, a connoisseur of stillness, a listener of wind where each dialect is not only heard but understood. Can we imagine such a livelihood? I now live in a village in the desert. Although we have left the city, it has taken my body months to slow down, to recover a rhythm in my heart that moves my body first and my mind second. I am learning there is no such thing as wasting time, as whole days pass inside the simple tasks of making a home, meeting new neighbors, watching the ways of deer. My ears have just now stopped ringing as they adjust, accommodate this quiet, this calm in the landscape of time. If you had asked, I would have told you I was happy. My husband and I were comfortable in our urban routine, but one night over dinner, he said, what if we are only living half lives? What if there is something more? We wanted more. We wanted less. We wanted more time, fewer distractions. We wanted more time together, time to write, to breathe, to be more conscious with our lives. We wanted to be closer to wild places where we could walk and witness the seasonal changes, even the changing constellations. So we banked on the idea of a simpler life away from the city, near the slick rock country we love. What we would lose in income, we would gain in sanity. We moved. Slowly, we are adjusting. We saunter more and drive less. We rarely eat out. We go to bed earlier and rise with first light. We call it home finally. What are we missing? I'm not so easily seduced by speed as I once was. I find I have lost the desire to move that quickly in the world. To see how much I can get done in a day does not impress me anymore. I don't think it's about getting older. It feels more like honoring the gravity in my own body in relationship to place. I want my life to be a celebration of slowness. So as we consider those words about slowing down, about ease, about moving into, I know the weather is still warm, but as we turn towards this wintering season, I have a couple images that I want us to think about. So as you're comfy, hopefully your body's still nice and cozy, but I invite you to close your eyes and picture the fall colors wherever your favorite place to see them is. Maybe it's from a dock or a familiar drive. Maybe it's your own yard or a place where you spent time growing up. And see the trees in all their vivid colors. And I'm going to ask you to be one of the trees, be among them. Feel your feet rooted deep beneath the earth, tendrils connected to every other tree you can see. The length and strength of your body as the trunk. And your arms and hands and fingernails flashing with bright colors as you dance in the wind. And as you are this tree, I want you to think about what brings you life, especially at the end of this vibrant summer where we got to play, where we got to connect. What is that burst of joy flowing from your fingertips? That flame of color? Has there been something that you can celebrate? Something that you want to give gratitude for? Some flag you want to fly in the wind? Where in your body can you feel that sense of hooray? What does it feel like to have that yes, that enthusiasm, the sweetness of the summer recognized in this, even as it comes to a close? And then the wind comes and you hear the leaves rustling in your neighbors. And soon some of the leaves start to tumble. A gentle shower of red and gold, gently weeping onto the earth or into the lake. And it is a relief to let things go. And so what are those things that can just easily fall away? What can be surrendered? What can be acknowledged for having completed the cycle? And return back to the earth to join the next cycle in time. But feel into your body, into your energy, into your life. What is ready to fall away? What is ready to be released? Not plucked or ripped, but just a slight breeze, and it can be let go of. And there's freedom in the letting go. There's beauty in the letting go. There is vulnerability in letting go, but it's the right time and it happens easily. And after you've burst into a flaming colors, and after you've let those leaves go, the last reflection is what remains. What is steady in the core that you know you can hold on to? What sustains you even in what seems like emptiness? The winter and the darkness arrive slowly, but you know you are okay because deep within your center, you can hold your core. You have all that you need wrapped around you, holding you tall and upright. What can you put at the center of your life? What does it feel like in the center of your body? What will you hold? What stays at the core? Abiding, enduring, strong, but still effortless. There is ease in these trunks, in these branches. They can move and sway. But there is a steadiness, a staying. What are those things in your life? And it may be an accumulation of just small, thin things around you. You can slip out of your tree being or stay a tree being if you'd like. But I invite you to open your eyes and come back to our little forest. And so for our conversation today, I'm going to invite you to share one or all of those three things of what feels like a burst of joy at the end of the season, what it feels like you're ready to let go of, and what it feels like will remain in this season as we turn towards darkness. So jump on in anyone.
Did you want a piece of music in between?
Sure.
Okay. This is a song by Sarah Thompson who, hang on just a second. Let me go to this first. Make sure I'm set up for it. Okay. All right. Oh, I did share. Okay. This is a song that Kathy and I got to sing with Vocal Point Chorus with Sarah Thompson. And I think it fits the message today.
You are held by holy angels, holy angels, all around you. Hush now, sleep, child, sing the holy angels. We are holding you. You can rest. Morning will come, child. The dawn will break through the darkness. We are holding you through the light of the newborn day. Lulu, 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 you are held by holy angels, holy angels, all around you. We are holding you. You can rest.
Thank you, Chuck.
Don't make me cry. Did it affect any of you guys that way?
Yep.
Would you like me to make it worse, Alice? Or better?
I don't know.
Well, I sang that to Gordy in the hospital right before he died.
And on that thought, my sister and brother, we did a triple come, come wherever you are for my dad when he was dying too. I want to get back to everybody instead of just Stephanie. Can we do that?
Mm-hmm.
I'm only getting, there we go. There we go.
So yeah, what came to you? What feels like a burst of joy? What feels like something that's ready to flutter away? What is abiding in your core?
Well, being a gardener, the harvest is, you know, it's how I connect to generations of my descendant or my ancestors, and how we're still in the harvest season, and therefore it's, even though the leaves are starting to fall off the trees, I'm still don't have much ease because I have to do whatever I have to do for the harvest. Kelly is nodding, yes, or anybody else who does that. But once, I always feel that sense of relief when I put the garden away. And I wonder how people in Florida do that. or California if they never get to do that, that we're kind of lucky somehow. But then when the freezer's full and my crisper is full, then I get to be more creative in the kitchen. So that's where my mind went.
Thank you.
I was thinking about the trees, about how they would feel releasing all of the leaves and everything. And my mind went to how they would feel all the life they were able to give that year with all of the animals, maybe a nest, all of the seeds and all of the animals feeding off of the seeds, and the protection that those leaves gave for all the other animals. And when we were watching, there's a huge ash tree, and I was just caught by how gorgeous yellow the ash was, glowing, and the sky was so blue, and the leaves were being released, and they would spiral with their fingers just twirling, and it was just transporting to just enjoy that, seeing that happen, and being there, lucky to be there under that tree when it was happening. And it would come in singles, and then it would come in drifts of yellow. So
At some point, I was flashing back to my childhood when we took a trip to Colorado, and the aspen trees really appealed to me, and it was kind of exotic because we didn't have those in Kansas City where I was growing up, and just the way they shimmer in the sunlight and all of that. During that song, Holy Angels, I was thinking about a metaphor of the holy angels being like the trees and the grasses and the mycelium in the ground and all of that stuff, you know.
Mm.
Kitty, that was so beautiful, your description. It just gave me a picture in my mind. It was wonderful.
thank you. I had to put it on Facebook. Share it with people.
That's a good thing to put on Facebook. Yes, what I was thinking about, as you were talking, Stephanie, was something I read recently. I have Parkinson's. It's not severe. You know, it's pretty easily managed right now. But I read a short comment by someone, I think it was a physician, about slowness and Parkinson's, and how she was forced, having Parkinson's, to slow down. And then she thought about, you know, what does this mean for me? And I thought, oh, I haven't felt really negatively about this Parkinson's thing, but it has forced me also to save my life by not going too fast and falling down.
Mm-hmm.
And also, another thought came to mind, which was, I was walking in the park nearby with Tanner, and we came up out of the woods, and there was all these people in cars. Soccer season,
Mm.
And it just annoyed me. I don't know. But it might be because of the feeling that all these people and all this action and, and it just was like after coming through the woods, it just kind of struck me kind of, got a little irritated. Anyway, thank you, Stephanie. It was wonderful.
It was.
Yeah. It's not a natural time of year to speed up, but that's what so many of us do.
Yeah.
You know, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's my rhythm of still being in school. It just feels like.
I can chime in on the speed up. I worked in agricultural research for 22 years, and I was really busy all summer. I had sort of a lull in August. September got busy, and then harvest season, and I was just running around actually all over the state with my plots harvesting. It was busy time. I enjoyed being out in nature. I loved it, but it was something that was so wonderful when it was done. And so I enjoy the fall. I enjoy the leaves, except for the ones that fall in my yard. We have two huge aspen trees, and that with the maple trees is about a month-long harvest of leaves. But it's a wonderful, rejoicing time, relaxing time. And for some reason, it stimulates me to think about winter. And there's something peaceful about winter and exciting. I've always loved, as a kid, sled riding and scooting down the sidewalk in my boots, and then finally ice skating, and then later skiing when I got older. So I always looked forward to winter as a time to do something that was, to me, exciting. So this is a great time of year for me to try to pump up and try to stay healthy, so I can hopefully still downhill ski, but we cross country ski a bit too. So it's a transition time, but it's a relaxful time when things are put away, as Alice said.
Mm-hmm.
When Kelly and I met in California, and we were there for a few years, and when we told our friends that we were moving to Minnesota, they thought we were crazy, and thought we only have like 2 weeks of summer, and stuff like that. But I was only there for 4 years, and I really missed the change of seasons, and especially spring and fall, those transitional times. And if you really paid attention, you could notice some change when certain trees and stuff. But there was a tree on the street where Kelly lived that turned kind of a golden or rusty colored, but it was more like in December or January or something that it would change color. And but otherwise, it was really subtle, and yeah, it was. I love early summer thunder showers, and I love the fall, and I don't know, it just seems to mark time so much better than I think if I lived in San Diego, every day would seem the same, and it's the easiest weatherman's job in the world,
But I think there is something about this cyclic nature that is easy to lose when it's sunny all the time or when there's that much light, and so it's like, how can we really appreciate and accommodate and change our lives to accommodate this? Because we could be just as busy in the winter, we could be just as full of activities, but it's like, what do we have to learn from this invitation to slow down? I sleep a lot more in the winter. I learned that very palpably in Alaska. Like, the summer was hard because it was this light at midnight, and I was like, oh, I need to go to bed. But there was just sort of this communal sense of like, we all slow down, we all do less, we all go in, that I think is just really yummy, and I'm feeling particularly the invitation to. And as I was reading some from Terry Tempest Williams to all of you, I was reminded of the Jewish practice of Sabbath, And two things about it in particular that I feel like I've been really interested in lately. One is that the Sabbath is always 25 hours long instead of 24 hours long, in just that gesture of abundance, generosity to the self of just a little bit more than a day. Because let's just do it, let's give ourselves a little bit more rest than we maybe even is the law. And that, at least this is how I think I've always approached Sabbath, of like, you have 6 days to be busy, and then you have 1 day to crash and recover. And then you have 6 days to be busy and 1 day to crash and recover. And traditional Jewish texts would say the rest of the week serves the Sabbath. You get your things done so that your Sabbath is spacious. And all the other days are in service of the Sabbath. You get all the stuff taken care of that you have to get done so that this day gets to be yummy and full and unhurried and unstressed. And somehow, like, the flipping of those two things was really potent for me, and I hope I'm articulating it well. But of rest not being, I think for us, and this is a little bit of what Catherine May was saying, like, rest is either sort of like enforced, or burnout is this badge of honor, like, oh, I'm so crazy busy that I'm just burned out and I have to turn this down. I'm practicing self-care from my crazy busy life, and I can't come because I have finally earned my rest, instead of, I did this work to enjoy spaciousness and nothingness, and now it's here, and I'm going to use it, and I'm going to love it. Of the busyness being in service of rest, instead of rest being in service of the busyness that we feel forced to maintain and hold like some status symbol. I don't know. Does this resonate with anyone else? Is this me? Is this like,
Yeah.
It feels sort of cultural and pervasive, and I don't know. I'm also interested in, like, who does this well? Where do we see this, right? And that's why, like, the trees, when I was up north, just watching this shower of aspen and birch leaves into the lake, I was like, oh, gurus, so wise, just like letting things go, simplifying this time of year. And I was just like, teach me everything. Just have less to worry about. Wouldn't that be nice?
There's one thing I want to say about being cyclical, about being aware of being cyclical, which is, as they said in the movie, riding the crimson wave every month. For me, I enjoyed so much that monthly time when I could just say, oh, I can just sit here and do nothing. This is my time. Mm-hmm. I didn't have, the major problems that some women have with pain, so I was pretty much okay. But just that, I don't know, I always loved that. I lost that because of medication for treatment that I was doing. Oh my gosh, I just missed it so much. I still miss it to this day. And I was having that cycle till into my 50s. Anyway.
Wow, beautiful.
Yeah, I thought of that as you were talking about cycles.
One thing that came to mind for me was a Peter Mayer song, surprise, surprise, called "Ordinary Day," and even despite your activity level, what goes on just to your body and in your body and stuff like that. I'm going to post the first 3 verses in the chat, just if anybody wants to take a look at it. It just talks about all the electromagnetic signals and how you're standing on a planet that's spinning at a tremendous rate of speed, and all these things are going on, and you don't have to be doing anything to be a part of it,
Well, thank you. And in our nod to ease, I want to honor our ending time so that we can go do the other things. And I know some of us will be back for RE this afternoon, so go enjoy a bit of a break. But thank you all for joining us this morning and taking time to be with us. And yeah, I think maybe the mantra that I'll leave us with from Terry Tempest Williams is, I'm learning there is no such thing as wasting time. And just what what it would be like to really feel that this week would be my hope for us, of just giving ourselves a break and taking some space. So thanks for making space for this in your week, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.